Thousands of Americans are still picking up the pieces after more than 60 tornadoes tore through 9 states, among them a monster EF4 twister that spanned from Tennessee to Kentucky on the ground for more than 165 miles. Now we are retracing that historic storm and listening to the survivors' stories. ABC's Brad Mielke is the host of the ABC News podcast Start Here, and he joins us live now from Gilbertsville, Kentucky. Brad, it's great to see you out there. So tell us, you spent the last couple of days, I guess, traveling along the stretch of land that tornado went through. What have you seen and experienced?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, Terry, because you think about tornadoes and how it seems like they often choose their spots, right? Where, you know, some houses are utterly destroyed like this one here. Some are left untouched. What was unique here is you've got this 165-mile-long tornado. This is the longest track that we've seen in nearly a century, and it just kept going, about a half a mile wide at the base, sometimes a mile wide. You can literally see it carved into the ground as you go across Kentucky, just how straight and damaging this was. In fact, where we are right here, you got houses that have been shoved off their foundations. We've seen boats that have been stuck in tree branches around here, and we've had trucks roll uphill with these winds. And so the spot we're at right now, the tornado took about 60 miles to get here. It goes back there for another 100 miles. And so you just see this line, this canyon of demolition kind of carved into the earth here.
It's a terrifying thought, that tornado roaring across all that territory, all those homes, all those towns. And you've been recording a special episode of your podcast, Start Here, which is on ABC News every day, of course. And I guess you're talking to survivors along the way. What are you hearing?
Well, you know, it's interesting. The thing, we really tried to show a scope, because I think it still is difficult to convey, even with images, what this is like. And so the thing that keeps popping out to me, Terry, is people who say, I've lived in this neighborhood for my entire life. I could walk through this place in the dark, and yet I can't recognize what street I'm on right now. I literally don't know where I am. One woman told me she was looking at the same house on the news over and over, and she said, there's something about that house. Then she saw her own home right behind it. It was her next door neighbor, Terry. She just couldn't place it. That is how alien these landscapes have become. And so the more you hear these stories, the more you realize just how everything changed in about the span of 10, 20 minutes for these communities. You know, we spoke to the fire chief in Casey, Kentucky. That's right at the state line with Tennessee. That's really where all this began. This was the first population center that this tornado arrived at, and his fire station is now gone. And he talked to me and described just what it's like to see a black wall of storm approach your town.
I've lived here my entire life. Got a lot of family around the area. Nothing can prepare you for on foot walking up here to your station, realizing it's not here, and hearing your community members screaming in the streets. You can hear everything from a true shriek of terror, not realizing what's going on, to a faint help, to just a where's my granddaughter, where's my husband, wife, just looking for people. But amazingly enough, a lot of these people in this community, they're looking at their homes in a pile of rubble just like this, and they're helping other people.
And so, you know, these are the conversations that you keep having around the state, really, Terry, and you realize just, you know, how impactful this has been for so many people. And again, as that fire chief told us, though, how so many people are trying to stay positive in this moment, but you gotta think it's difficult. Many have told us they're not planning to rebuild just because of how traumatizing. We actually spoke to one family. They got their house wiped out by a tornado 20 years ago. They rebuilt. They decided to keep a storm shelter in at this time. That storm shelter is now the only thing left. They say they're not going to do that again.
That's understandable. And so I want to ask you, 11 days later now on from this storm, it's such a long journey for those who do plan to stay and recover. How is it going? How's it starting? But more importantly, where do they find the spirit, the strength, the whatever they need inside to make that choice? We're going to rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to one woman who said that seeing the community come out for her when they all have their own problems is the most powerful thing. She actually, you know, she had to crawl through rubble. She was asleep when the storm hit. Her emergency alarm system didn't go off. She's asleep as the sheetrock starts coming down on her bed. She's trapped in her home. She grabs her dog, crawls out underneath the rubble. She could not tell where she was. Everything was so alien to her. She thought she was on the floor, maybe in her garage. She was actually on the roof of her car. Because the walls are all gone in these places. She called a friend, had to grab her dog, sit in the car in the 25-degree weather for 4 hours while her friend came from across the state to help her. And those are the stories that tell people that they should stay, that they should rebuild. But you can't blame somebody for saying, I got to find a different area that doesn't just bring up all this pain and suffering. But the more you talk to people, the more you realize that they are just determined to keep these communities as tight as they feel right now.
Home is home. Brad Mielke, thank you for that report.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.